back to IMDb Live at New York Comic Con 2017. Put your hands together so they know you're real, ladies and gentlemen. We got people watching. That means we got something to see, and we got something to see right up here, man. Give it up for two legends. If they were to make a modern-day Mount Rushmore for Batman creators, these two faces would be on it. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder. Boys, you and I have spoken before on Fat Man on Batman, my podcast and whatnot. It was a fantastic episode. For those who don't follow comics that closely, what are you doing at this show? They redefined Batman for this generation. For how many issues did you work on it?
It was about 50, right? 50.
Which title, Batman or Detective?
Batman.
Just Batman, the main title. 50 issues together. In terms of comic book creativity history of writing artist teams, is that somewhere on a record level?
It's more old school for sure. You know, a lot of these young guys, you know, they jump ship frequently. You know what I mean? You get bored or whatever. But I'm an old school guy, so it just makes sense that I set down roots. And so when something's going as well as it has with you know Brother Scott and all, it makes no good sense to jump off. You know what I mean? It's like if I was on Gilligan's Island, we're getting high ratings. I'm staying on Gilligan's Island.
Now wait a second. You said something that I want to talk about. You're an old school comics guy. I don't mean to, this is not to lower anybody else. This is just to raise that generation. Does it feel, to me it doesn't feel like there are rock star names like there were like 70s, 80s, 90s. Is it because artists don't stay on books for a long period of time, or am I crazy?
No, I do think that's a part of it because it's very easy to get seduced into like the con life, and to go around and you do a little bit of work, but then you go and you press the flash and you sell your prints or you do head sketches and you don't create a body of work, and so that might seem like a great plan up front because you could make some good money, but ultimately I don't think you build a name, you don't build a reputation, and you don't have as much longevity as if you build a body of work. So, I come from a generation with a hard work ethic, and that's how I was raised. And it always gave me the most pleasure when I opened a comic book that the creator that I was following, that I enjoyed, was there. And I could count on him being there month after month. And I was so disappointed when I would crack open a comic book and it'd be, the favorite artist that I was following was no longer there. But most of the guys from the generation, they stayed. So it was a very dependable thing. Now, it's not that way. 3 issues, 6 issues, and they're gone. So, but I think you're onto something, Kevin. I think the work ethic is not there. They don't build a body of work, and so they don't create that superstar name that they could create because there's so much great talent.
But there's a superstar writer name, and you're sitting right next to him. Let me ask you this. Last season on Gotham, they started pulling in Court of Owls, right? Now, what did that feel like for you as a writer, for you as an artist? Like, you've seen every permutation of Batman you've worked on, you've followed others and played with their toys. To watch somebody follow you in a different medium and then play with your toys, how does that feel?
Oh, it's just it's such a huge honor. I mean, what I was hoping was they would take Court of Owls and do something their own, and the fact that they are doing that really it's a great joy. They're a great cast. They're always talking to us at cons, asking us what we think, and they're a great bunch. So it really, there's no bigger thrill than knowing you added some tiny thing to the Bat mythos. So it goes back to 75 years of amazing stories, incredible books, and to be a part of that in any way is just the biggest honor in my life.
Do you ask for props? Are you like, will you send me a mask or something like that?
I was like, can we be in the back and just be like,
But I don't think you watched the show.
It's just like 2 owl masks with guys but. So they've been really kind. They invited us to set a couple times, but I honestly want to just stay away and let them do their thing because I love when they take it and reinterpret it. So they've been great.
The reality is this, like for me, I wanted to draw a comic book since I was 8 years old, right? And so when you want to do that, you never understand that, someday people might want your autograph or a picture with you, or there's going to be a show, or people will fly you to someplace to attend a show. None of that stuff ever comes into play when you have that goal. And so to see them make a toy or a television show, it's just mind-blowing to me. You know what I mean? You never could predict it, and that was never your goal, so it's all icing.
Let's talk about, he talked about drawing. Let's talk about writing. And this is, I'm not going to be like, how does one become Scott Snyder, but how often do you write? Tell folks what the life of a writer is really like.
Oh, it's so boring. My kids
Include the text message of.
Yeah, I know. My kids think I like go to the Batcave and meet Batman, and I'm like, "This is what you're gonna do today, Bruce." You know, and he's like, "Fight the Joker again?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you are. So do it." But no, are there any aspiring writers out there? Any guys want to be writers? Girls want to be writers? Yeah. See, writing. What it really is, it's honestly, I love that Stephen King quote. It's like, it's talent is as common as table salt. It's all the hard work. I mean, writing is really writing when you don't feel like it. It's getting up and saying, my kids go to school at 8:45. I'm gonna sit there even when I know what I'm gonna write is gonna be bad that day, no matter what, and just sit there and push through it and get to the other side. And it's sort of just taking it down a notch and saying it's okay to be afraid of writing something awful, and it will happen. So the writing life is really, it's like any other job in a lot of ways, and I really enjoy teaching it. I teach for DC now and teach some of their incoming writers. And that's the biggest lesson, is that if you stay with it and do it every day, almost anyone can learn it to a level of competence. So it really isn't like some mystical, unachievable thing. But it sucks a lot of the time because you're there writing when you'd rather be out, out in the world or looking at the internet or all that stuff. It's a job in that way. And one of the things I respect so much about Greg, and I think that one of the reasons our collaboration has gone well, is that he's the consummate craftsman. The same way, the guys, when he was telling me about how when he was young, he would go down to the train station with his sunglasses so nobody would know. He was looking and just draw people. And when you love the craft that much, when you're committed to it, and you put that above, like we were saying before, making the toys or the movies and that stuff, that's when something special happens. And I'm very honored and grateful to be able to work with him on this stuff. We really, and thankful to you guys. You give us our dream job. We wake up every day so happy to go to work. So, it's just a matter of letting us, do that job where we get up and say, I get to be a writer today. I get to be an artist today,
That's some beautiful real talk. Give it up for the boys, ladies and gentlemen. Before I let you go and get out of here, I want to talk about Dark Knight's Metal. Best name for a book of all time. When I saw it, Metal, I was like, that's metal. Tell folks, the uninitiated, what you guys are doing with Dark Knight.
First, I'd like you to know that Scott and I had a fight for that title. They wanted like jazz fusion, No, seriously, we had a fight for that title. They didn't want it. They wanted to ape the Crisis title again, and we had a fight for it and go, this is what's cool, and this is what's fun. And I'll tell you another thing. The cover, the first one, if you saw, I took the JLA and formed them in the Devil Horns. I had a fight for that cover. And I go, I know you want the Star Wars epic JLA cover with the upshot and I go, I know, but I've seen it since I was a little kid, and so have you. I go, I want to capture the spirit of this event. And now that it's doing so well, you got Dean DiDio coming up with wigs and blow up air guitars, you know what I mean? So they finally bought into it, but it was a struggle at first, huh?
Yeah, it was. And, I love that you made Batman the thumb when it's like,
right, because you had the cape.
Right.
It's the only way. How did I make a thumb?
If you're not reading, Metal is basically imagines that the Justice League discovers that beneath our universe is a dark matter multiverse where all of our hopes and fears exist. Batman discovers it first, and by looking in, what he sees are all his fears about himself. What if I actually went further and killed the Joker, and the Joker's heart has a toxin in it that makes whoever kills him the next Joker? What if, I've been softened by my friendship with Superman, and I should actually be afraid of him because he's an alien? All those versions of Batman, the one that became the Joker, the one that infected himself with the Doomsday virus to fight Superman, they live in the dark multiverse, and this villain brings them here. So Metal is all about sort of these terrifying versions of Batman coming here, opening a portal to this realm of the multiverse. It's essentially all of our deepest fears about ourselves, all of our hopes, and that invasion. So it's a lot of fun. It's over the top. It's got like Joker dragons and Baby Darkseid and, all kinds of nutty rock and roll stuff. And
it's Kirby Crackle on crack.
Wow.
It is. And honestly, the fact that you guys have supported it and it's done as well as it has, we can't thank you enough. And again, and Kevin has been one of our early supporters from when we started, dude. He had us on Fat Man on Batman. We were just starting out a couple times, so you deserve a huge round of applause.
I love
for everything
passion.
you did, Batman.
Thank you. I love passion, and you guys were so passionate about the material, not just on the page, but in person. Even just now, as you both went down the rabbit hole of talking about the book, I just kept leaning forward, man. The comic book community, of course, feeds the TV, feeds the movies, but the original ideas start on the page with guys like this. Give it up for Greg and Scott, ladies and gentlemen.